Vrydag 1 Desember 2023. Hierdie aflewering van Koffie en Beskuit. Ek nou maar vir julle 'n paar nuuspuntjies wys wat regtig jy gaan maar net jou kop moet skud, want die waansin is sonder grense. Die eerste ding waaroor ek wil praat is die diesel van Eskom. Dit is skrikwekkende bedrae wat Eskom spandeer aan diesel. Maar dis nie waaroor dit vir my gaan nie. Die feit is, Eskom is van nasionale belang. Sonder Eskom het ons probleme. Now, I want to know, why does Eskom not buy diesel directly from the suppliers? And by suppliers, I don't mean the fucking cadres here in South Africa. I'm talking about the oil producing countries. Why does Eskom not buy directly? There are rumors that Eskom is paying more per liter of diesel than you and me pay at the pump. How does that make sense? It can only make sense if you take the point of view that Cyril Ramaphosa and his gang has got an instruction to destroy Eskom. Where are the political parties? Why are they not up in mass about the fact that Eskom must buy diesel from a lot of cadres here in South Africa? Why not? And then the next thing that I saw is this Minister Zulu, you know, that ginger-haired one. She is now making noises about the child grants. 90,000 schoolgirls pregnant this year. I've said it many times. The SASA program, the baby grant, is a breeding program. Breeding children for what? What is the purpose of those children? I'm of the opinion that they are earmarked to be cannon fodder, because there's no investment in their education, there's no investment in providing them with skills, there's no provision for jobs for them. So they are useless eaters, as Klaus Schwab say. Me and you have to ask ourselves, what are they destined for? What is Triple X's plans with those children? But the sad part is, the politicians, all the politicians, are participating in fueling that sinister breeding program. And then I see this, I can't talk too much about it. Dr. Paulo Brugueri and Arthur Schmidt from FASA is taking on Pfizer. FASA Freedom Alliance of South Africa on the unsafe and effective court case. But there is so many reports that has come out in the recent weeks about what was really behind that thing. And yet, here we sit. Those that promoted it, still running freely, and they're planning the next one. And then I see this. SANDF going the same route as Eskom, SAA and Transnet. Heitman Defence Web. Well, what do you expect? Nothing. No single state organ is still operational. Not one. Not one of them. And then these militants, especially the EFF gang, they're full of stories of what they want to do with the local population. In the meantime, the immigrants are planning to take South Africa. And the Defence Force, they can't even defend against a veld fire. Now, I'm not going to spend time on this one. You're all aware of that young farmer whose cattle were poisoned, and the fact that the police refuses to take action. Now I see from many articles that it seems like the farmers are going to take action themselves, and who can blame them? And then let's go a little bit international. EU members strike industrial emissions deal. European Council lawmakers insisted that the deal struck late on Tuesday with the European Parliament to reduce industrial emissions would not create further red tape for the industry or farmers. Existing rules on landfills and emissions for industrial mining or minerals such as copper, iron, gold, nickel have been tightened in the preliminary agreement which has yet to be ratified. Large poultry and pig farms face restrictions on emissions that the Parliament statement said could lead to health problems. Well, all I'm going to say is that in a short time, those cretins sitting in the EU Parliament have managed, together with the European Commission, to destroy Europe's economy. Now, my question is, what is going to happen to all those millions of people that are going to become unemployed? I don't know how that's going to work. But then again, it is those people that will be affected that were sitting idly watching how those politicians fuck their countries up. Moses 6 verse 6, stupid people must suffer. And they're going to suffer severely. Then I see this one. Russia seizes the initiative. Has the Ukraine conflict entered its endgame? Russian journalist Vladislav Volgony believed Kiev's desperate attempt to achieve at least some form of PR victory has given way to the complete failure. So what happens next? That is a good question. The reality is that war is lost. It's been lost last year in April already. But the West and that evil fucker sitting in a shithouse in Washington made the stupid Western people believe that Kiev can win. I see Stoltenberg making a speech and he talks about Ukraine has taken back 60% of the land that the Russians occupied. What the fuck is he talking about? He has no clue what he's talking about, but he spews that shit out and the people believe him. And while we're on this belief thing, it's a Friday, I'm tired, it was a rough week and we are being bombarded with shit news all the time. But let's take a quick recap, just in my life, the things, the lies that I had to live with. And if I go back, far back, as far as I can remember, the big lie is how many Jews were killed by Hitler. There's a number, they throw out 6 million. But I saw articles, which is European statistics, census statistics taken in 1937, 36. And those census forms clearly indicate that the Jew population of Europe was just over 500,000. Now where the fuck did that 6 million come from? I don't know. But this is the thing. There's always a narrative that are being pushed to us and then the whole cabal, their total propaganda machine gets behind it and it goes. I had a friend and his father was a medical doctor in Germany during that World War II. And he himself is a doctor. And he just said to me, it was physically impossible that so many were killed, because there were not so many. If they wanted that many, it would have meant that from 1930, every Jewish woman in Europe had to have at least 2.5 babies per year to produce those numbers. But okay, now there's a lot of cunts that are going to call me anti-Semitic. Fuck you, man. Look at the facts. Then we had that another thing for me, that fucking moon landing. We were bamboozled and bullshitted with that thing, but we believed it. And it played an important role in our psyche to make us believe we are running on the front edge of technology. Total bullshit. The Twin Towers. We were all shocked and bamboozled. Total bullshit. If you look at the videos and you look at the security camera footage and things that was taken at the Pentagon, and then you take and you sit back for a second and you ask yourself, okay, that plane went into the Pentagon, that plane went into the Twin Towers. Why was there not one fucking single piece of aeroplane found on any of those sites? Why not? That is a basic question, but it shows you how powerful and evil the XXX cabal is. They don't care for lives. They don't. Don't bluff yourself. You're a fucking commodity. Those are the lies. Then we had the lies here in South Africa. De Klerk and his gang lied to us like hell. Mandela and his gang lied to us like hell. Even up to today, we are being fed lies, lies. And if someone tries to dissect those lies and give you the facts, then you're branded a conspiracy theorist. But there are realities that you cannot ignore. But you have the choice to believe the bullshit or not. That's your choice. You must just always remember that your choices have consequences. So, that is where we are. It's very hard on. Look what they did to us with the pestilence. And now it comes out that that snake bite was deadly. I mean, if I look at now what's happening in New Zealand and their parliament, and that women that are now busy exposing the things. I mean, they've got statistics, not sucking it out of their fucking thumbs. Statistics that certain of those snake pits, everybody that went through that is dead. Everybody. What the hell is going on? We have a problem in South Africa. We, and I'm going to call it the white community and primarily the Afrikaner community. From a very young age, I was used to the fact that we were tested in school, and according to the test outcomes, we were directed in certain directions. The bright ones were earmarked for universities, and the dumb ones were earmarked for technical careers. But the same amount of energy was spent on both groups, on the bright and the dim group. The bright group to stimulate them intellectually, the dim group to empower them technically, so that they have skills. When they leave school, they can start careers, they can or start their own businesses. That is what we did. And only the best of the best got the opportunity to go to university. And for us, that was not discrimination. That was something that we all understood why it is being done like that. But in the black community, there's nothing like that, because there's no fucking common sense in the black community. They've got most this superior logic and natural intelligence. So we're sitting here today, that in the black communities, today, in the black community, the bright ones, the really bright ones, are actually continuously and consistently under threat from the blacks, because they cannot tolerate excellence. They do not appreciate excellence. They do not understand that if one black man in the community is successful in his business, he is bringing money to that community and he creates job opportunities for other people in the community to better their lives. No, these fucking dimwits, they go and they burn his house down and kill him because he's now, he wants to be white. What the fuck is that? But the reality is, that is the level of their intelligence. They cannot understand that excellence in their group means advantage to the whole group. They kill their own fucking group by destroying the bright ones in their group. This is not fucking racism. This is facts. But that is what you do. You pick the dumbest one that you have, that you can find, and you make him a leader. And then that dumb one that is a leader, in order to protect his position, he will only appoint fuckers that are dumber than him, because he feels threatened by anybody that is more capable and cleverer than him. So that is why we sit with a fucking cabinet that we have. A lot of useless cadres that can do fuck all, like Vusit and Bakwayo says. You choose a guy that has never built anything in his life, and you choose him as your leader, and then you wonder why the fuck he's not building anything. That is the realities. But you are the architects of your own fucking demise, but you blame me. You blame the whites. And that is also, that blame game that you are playing is a clear proclamation by you that you're fucking stupid. But that's it. So, we're sitting here in today that our country is literally on the verge of totally collapsing. And the sad part is, 80% of the black population don't understand it. They will only understand it that day when there's no more. They go to the auto tellers and there was no SASSA payment. That's when the reality will hit them. And then, what are they going to do? Malema is already telling you to blame the whites. Although whites has got fuck all to do with it. But that's what Malema tells you. Blame the whites. Now, a ridiculous thing that you need to understand. Malema goes into a stadium and that stadium is packed by followers. And they hang on his lips. The reality is, Malema, as he's standing on that stage, has got more money than all those people in the stadium together. Let that sink in. He doesn't care a fuck what the outcome is of his speeches, because he will get into his 4x4 and drive back to his mansion where the food and booze will flow. But your position will not change. I see now that one guy that has been found guilty of instigation of the destruction of that mall in KwaZulu. He's been found guilty. Now Malema is jumping up and going to take his case on appeal. What the fuck is that? What does it tell you? Malema protects the crooks. And you think he cares a fuck about your future. He cares nothing, man. But in any case, that's your way. You choose the stupidest people among you and then you follow them blindly. And when they lead you into shit, you look around bewildered. And the only thing you can do is blame racism or blame apartheid or some shit like that. You're pathetic. But the fact of the matter is, we're sitting in a situation, I see this morning an article, over 21 million people receiving grants in some form. And there's only 7 million taxpayers. And that 7 million taxpayers is under severe pressure. Severe. Ask yourself, how the fuck is that sustainable? And then I see this article. Our coal exports has dropped by 30%. Why? The rails are fucked. The harbours are fucked. Those are the reasons. And now I can have another program of another 4 hours to explain how the rails and the harbours got fucked, but that's not important. The reality is they are fucked. And they will not be fixed overnight. It's going to take years. You have to ask yourself the question, what the hell are you going to do over those years? What? How are you going to survive? No exports, no imports. How? And then we have this situation of these generators that the Chinese is now gifted. Gifted. I don't believe it. But that's what the narrative is, they gifted it. I can assure you, there's a lot of strings attached to those generators. And it's not the ropes that you start them with. Fact of the matter is, Cyril and his cabal has deliberately fucked Eskom for reasons that I have already discussed. You have to answer the question, why? I have given you many reasons why, but you must get it in your mind, why is he doing that? In any case, I hope you enjoy your koffie, I hope you enjoy your boerbeskuit, want dit is 'n rowwe tyd wat voor ons lê. Die Kersseisoen is hier. Ons almal wil graag in 'n goeie gees wees. Maar hoe die fok kan jy in 'n goeie gees wees wanneer jy in 'n kakput swem? Ek meen, dit vat 'n baie spesiale ou om positief te bly terwyl die stront hier by sy nek opkom. Ek weet nie hoe gaan ons dit doen nie. Al wat ek weet is ons sal dit doen. Want deur die jare het ons bewys ons kan dit doen. Maar in elk geval, ek praat nou net kak. Luister na die dinge wat vir jou gesê word en dink dan daaroor. Moenie net sluk nie. En ek wil vir die mense sê wat my ondersteun, baie dankie hoor. En dan wil ek vir die ouens sê, hoor, hier is baie mense wat vir my boodskappe stuur en wat vir my e-posse stuur en so. Ek lees die goed, hoeveel as wat ek kan. Ek kan onmoontlik nie op almal antwoord nie. Dit is physically impossible. So asseblief, as ek jou nie antwoord en so nie, moenie dink ek ignoreer jou nie. Ek waardeer julle kommunikasie en dit is goed. Maar verstaan my posisie. Ek maak 'n groep oop die oggend as ek opstaan. Dan is daar 20 posts wat ek moet lees. En dan scroll ek so deur dit. En dan is daar miskien 12 video's. En as ek al die minute van die video's bymekaar tel, dan is dit meer as 2 ure se video's. Vir jou is dit 'n 2 minute, 3 minute video, 4 minute of 5 minute video. Maar as daar 10 van daai soort video's is dit 'n moersklomp van my tyd. Ek het nie die tyd om dit alles te kyk nie. Ek het dit eenvoudig net nie. Ek forceer myself om by die goed verby te skiep. Op my eie WhatsApp groep sê ek vir my mense, nie my mense nie, vir die ondersteuners wat daar is. Sê ek, boys, as julle share, asseblief, sit kommentaar by daai share. Laat ons weet waaroor gaan hierdie video wat jy nou share. As jy net die video so drop, die fok weer dan moet ek die ding gaan kyk. En nou is dit 10 to 1 is dit 'n video wat gaan oor 'n topic wat ek glad nie eers in belang stel nie. Maar dit is vir jou belangrik. Sê vir ons wat het jy in die video gesien en hoekom jy hom share. Moenie die fucking groepe dumpsite maak nie. Ongelukkig is daar te veel mense op sosiale media wat groepe gebruik as fucking dumpsites. Hulle sien 'n lekker ding en hulle sien die headline en sê fuck dit, share dit vir almal. Moenie dit doen nie. Dit dien geen doel nie. As jy respek vir die groep het waarin jy is, waarheen jy dit share, dan sê jy, boys, ek het nou hierdie video gekyk, daar is dit en dit gesê, ek is nie so happy oor dit nie, maar ek hou van dit en dit en dit. And that's it. En dan weet die ander ouens in die groep dadelik, okay, hoorie, miskien moet ek gaan kyk wat het hier gebeur. Of jy kan lees en sê, ja, okay, ek stel nie belang in daai so ding nie, en skiep verby. Ons moet respek vir mekaar se tyd hê. Dit is baie belangrik hoor. In elk geval, ek moet nog 'n program doen van Friday is Braai hoor, en daai ding vat my 5 ure om te produce. So, lekker dag vir julle, geniet dit, en gooi maar die koffie, en vat 'n tip van hierdie ou. As 'n ou vir jou 'n ding sê, wat jy nie van hou nie, gooi hom na ene en sê, cheers, pal. Lekker dag.